Let me ask you something before we start, and I want you to answer it honestly, just to yourself, because nobody else is listening right now. When was the last time you stood on one foot without grabbing onto something? Not in a doctor's office, not when somebody was watching, just you in your own kitchen, standing on one leg the way you did 1,000 times when you were younger and never once thought about it. If you cannot remember the last time, then this is for you, because in the next few minutes, I am going to show you a test that takes about 10 seconds, that costs you nothing, that you can do today in the room you are sitting in right now. And what that test tells you about the years you have left is something most people your age have never been told. I am Dr. Bauer, and on this channel I tell you the plain truth that a rushed appointment never has the time to explain. And here is the truth about balance. Your body has been keeping a quiet record of how well you are aging, and it has been writing that record into one simple thing, the thing you are about to test, and almost nobody checks it until the day they end up on the floor. Let me tell you about a man named Walter. Walter is 71 years old, and Walter is the kind of man who never made a fuss about anything. He raised 3 kids, he worked 40 years, he mowed his own lawn until last summer. And about a year ago, Walter started doing something without even realizing he was doing it. When he got out of bed in the morning, he put his hand on the dresser. When he stepped out of the shower, he held the towel bar a little longer than he used to. When he walked down his own hallway, the hallway he had walked 10,000 times, his fingers started brushing the wall, just lightly, just in case. He did not think anything of it. He would have told you he felt fine. And that is exactly the thing I need you to understand, because Walter did feel fine right up until the afternoon he reached for a coffee cup, turned a little too fast, and went down on his kitchen floor and could not get up for 2 hours. Now here is what almost everybody believes, and I need you to hear how wrong this is, because believing it is what gets people hurt. Most people think that losing your balance is just a normal part of getting older, something that happens to everybody, nothing you can do about it, just the way it goes. And I understand why people think that, because that is what they have been told their whole lives, that the body wears out, that the legs get unsteady, that you slow down and you hold the railing, and that is just age. But that is not the truth, and the research does not say that, and the doctors who actually study this do not say that. Balance is not something you helplessly lose. Balance is something you can measure and something you can lose. And here's the part nobody tells you, something you can get back. The unsteadiness Walter felt was not age knocking on the door. It was a signal. It was his body waving a flag, weeks and months before that fall. And if Walter had known the simple test I am about to show you, he would have seen that flag coming with time to spare. So let me show you why this matters so much, and why I am not exaggerating when I tell you this is one of the most important things you will check all year. There is a kind of measurement in medicine that we call a marker, and a marker is something small and simple that quietly tells you about something large and serious. Your blood pressure is a marker, a number on a cuff that tells you about your heart and your arteries and your risk of a stroke. And for years, balance was treated like it did not matter much, like it was just a thing that faded. But a group of researchers decided to actually test it, and what they found changed how a lot of doctors think. They followed more than 1,700 people, men and women between the ages of 51 and 75, and they gave each of them one very simple task. Stand on one leg for 10 seconds, that is all. No machine, no needle, no special room, just stand on one leg for 10 seconds without holding on. And then they watched what happened to those people over the years that followed. And what they discovered is the reason I am making this video for you today. The people who could not hold that one leg, stand for 10 seconds, were far more likely to die in the decade that followed, from all causes, than the people who could. Not a small difference. The people who failed the test had something like an 84% higher risk of dying in those years, even after the researchers accounted for age, even after they accounted for weight, even after they accounted for whether the person already had heart trouble or diabetes or high blood pressure. The balance itself, that one simple thing, carried its own warning. And I want to be careful with you here, because I never want to frighten you. I want to inform you. This test does not predict the day you are going to die, and nobody can do that. And anybody who tells you they can is selling you something. What this test does is something far more useful. It gives you a window. It tells you, today, while there is still time to act, how steady your body actually is, underneath the surface, underneath the way you feel, underneath the way you have learned to compensate without even noticing. Because that is the trap, and it is the trap Walter fell into. Your body is brilliant at hiding its own decline. It will quietly start using the wall, the railing, the back of the chair, the countertop, and it will do this so gradually, so politely, that you will swear up and down that nothing has changed. And all the while, the thing underneath is slipping. This is exactly the kind of thing I put together for people in a guide I wrote called the Complete After 60 Health Guide, because there are so many of these quiet signals that the body sends, and almost nobody has them all in one place, in plain English, without the medical jargon that makes your eyes glaze over. I will tell you more about it as we go, and you will see a small square code appear on your screen here and there if you want to scan it and take a look. But the test comes first, because I have not even shown it to you yet, and the test is the part that can change everything. So why does standing on one leg tell us so much? Why would something so small carry so much weight? Let me explain it the way I wish every doctor would take the time to explain it. When you stand on one leg, you are not just using your leg. You are running an enormous, hidden teamwork operation inside your body, and almost all of it happens without you being aware of a single piece of it. Your inner ear is sending signals about which way is up. Your eyes are feeding in information about the world around you. The nerves and the soles of your feet are reading the floor, sensing every tiny shift of your weight. Your muscles are making hundreds of tiny corrections every second, little adjustments so small you cannot feel them, and your brain is sitting at the center of all of it, taking in every signal and sending out every command faster than you could ever think about it. That is what balance really is. It is not a leg thing. It is a whole body thing. And more than that, it is a brain thing. So when your balance starts to slip, it is almost never just one part wearing out. It is the communication between all those parts getting slower, getting quieter, getting less sharp. And that is why this one little test is so powerful. It is not testing your ankle, it is testing the entire conversation your body is having with itself, the conversation that keeps you upright, the conversation that keeps you off the floor. And I need to tell you what is actually at stake here, because I think a lot of people my patient's age have never had anyone lay it out for them plainly. When an older person falls, it is very often not the fall itself that turns into the real tragedy. It is everything that comes after. A broken hip at our age is not like a broken hip at 20. The research on this is sobering, and I am not going to dress it up for you because you deserve the truth. A serious fall can be the line that divides the life a person had before from a much smaller, much harder life after. And here is the number that should make every single one of us pay attention. Falls are now the leading cause of injury death for Americans over the age of 65. Not car accidents, not anything you would expect. Falls. In a single recent year, more than 40,000 older Americans died from a fall, and 1 out of every 4 people over 65 falls every single year. 1 in 4. Look around the next time you are at church, or at the grocery store, or at a family dinner, and count. Now, I do not tell you that to scare you. I tell you that because here is the hopeful part, the part that should make you sit up a little straighter, the part that almost nobody hears. Of all the serious threats to your health as you age, this might be the single most preventable one. You cannot always control your blood pressure with willpower alone. You cannot always control whether cancer comes, but your balance, the very thing this test measures, is something you can train at almost any age, even in your 80s, and the improvement can come faster than you would ever believe. So this is not a video about a problem you can do nothing about. This is the opposite. This is a video about the one quiet warning you can actually do something about starting today, in the next 10 minutes, in the room you are sitting in. So let me finally show you the test, and I am going to walk you through it slowly and carefully, the way I would if you were standing in front of me, because I want you to be safe while you do it, and I want you to do it correctly, so the answer it gives you means something. First, and this matters more than anything else I am about to say, I want you to find a safe spot. I want you to stand next to a kitchen counter, or beside a sturdy chair, or in a doorway where you can reach both sides. I do not want you standing in the middle of an open room, and I do not want you doing this alone for the first time, If you already feel unsteady, if there is somebody in the house, ask them to stand nearby. There is no prize for being brave here. The whole point of this test is to keep you off the floor, so we are not going to take a single risk while we measure. Once you are in your safe spot, I want you to stand up nice and tall, with your feet together and your arms down at your sides, resting naturally. Pick a spot on the wall in front of you, about eye level, and let your eyes settle softly on that spot. Now, when you are ready, and only when you are ready, I want you to lift one foot off the ground. You do not need to lift it high. Just bring it up so the foot is off the floor and let the lower part of that leg hang naturally, or rest the top of that free foot lightly against the other ankle. Keep your arms at your sides if you can, and now you simply hold, and in your head or out loud, you are going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That is the test. 10 seconds on one leg without holding on and without putting that foot back down. If you wobbled and had to grab the counter, that is information, and it is good that you have it now. If you had to set your foot down before you got to 10, that is information too. And if you sailed through 10 seconds and barely felt it, wonderful. And there is still something here for you, because I am going to show you what your number actually means in just a moment. And there is more to this than pass or fail. And here is a small thing that helps more than you would think. Write down the number you just got, today's date, and the seconds you held. Because a number you can look back on is worth 10 numbers you only felt. That little habit of tracking is one of the printable cards inside the Complete After 60 Health Guide, the same guide I mentioned a moment ago. And if you would like it, you will see that small square code on your screen now. Scan it whenever you like, and you can keep your own record right alongside everything else your body is telling you. So let me tell you what the number means, because this is where it gets interesting, and this is where I can give you something you can actually use. The researchers found that the 10-second mark was the line that mattered most, but your age changes the picture, and I want you to hear where you stand. If you are in your 50s, you should be able to hold that one leg stand comfortably, often for 30 seconds or more, without much trouble at all. If you are in your 60s, holding it for 20 seconds or more is a good, steady place to be. And once you are in your 70s, simply reaching that 10-second mark cleanly, without a big wobble and without grabbing on, puts you in a very reassuring group, the group whose bodies are still running that whole hidden conversation the way they should. So if you held your 10 seconds today, I want you to take a real breath of relief, because that is a genuinely good sign, and it is worth knowing. But here is what I do not want you to do. I do not want you to hear good news and then stop, because balance is one of those things that you keep or you lose based on whether you keep asking your body to do it. If you do not use it, you start to lose it quietly, the way Walter did, and the man who could hold 20 seconds at 68 can become the man who cannot hold 5 at 72 and never feel the change happening. So a good result today is not a finish line. It is a starting point and a reason to protect what you have. And if you could not hold it, if you wobbled, if you grabbed the counter, if your foot came down at 4 or 5 seconds, I do not want you to feel afraid, and I do not want you to feel ashamed, because you have just done something most people your age never do. You found out. You took the quiet signal out of the shadows and you put a number on it, while there is still time, and that is not a small thing. That is the whole thing. Walter never got to do that. Walter found out on the kitchen floor. You are finding out standing up in your own home with every option still open to you. That is the difference, and it is an enormous difference. And I want to take a moment here to tell you what your wobble was actually telling you, because I think when most people fail a test like this, they imagine it means their legs are simply weak, and they picture lifting weights, and they feel discouraged before they even begin. But that is not usually the real story, and understanding the real story is what makes the fix so much easier than you fear. When you wobbled, 3 different systems were each raising a hand, and any one of them or all of them together could have been the reason. The first is the inner ear, the tiny balance organ deep in your head, which can grow less sensitive with the years. The second is the sensation in the soles of your feet, those nerve endings that read the floor and report back, which can go quiet, especially if your blood sugar has been running high for a long time without you knowing. And the third is the speed of the whole loop, how fast your brain takes all of that information and turns it into a correction. The beautiful thing, the hopeful thing, is that every one of those three answers to practice. The inner ear recalibrates when you challenge it. The feet wake up when you stand on them with attention. The loop speeds up the more often you run it. So your wobble was not a verdict. It was a to-do list, and it is a list you can work through right there in your kitchen. There is one more thing I want you to know about reading your own result, and it is something I wish more people understood, because it can save you from a quiet, creeping mistake. The test is not only a thing you do once, it is a thing you can do again next month, and the month after that, and the number it gives you is the truest progress report you will ever get, because your body cannot lie to it. You cannot talk yourself into a better balance score the way you can talk yourself into believing you feel fine. The floor and the clock tell the truth every time, so I want you to think of today's number not as a grade, but as a starting line that you have now officially marked. You know where you stood today. Next month you get to find out whether you have moved. Now let me come back to Walter for a moment, because his story does not end on that floor. After his fall, Walter was lucky, and I do not use that word lightly. He did not break his hip. He was bruised and shaken and frightened, but he was not broken. And in the weeks after, he finally said out loud the thing he had been hiding even from himself, that he had been holding onto the walls for the better part of a year. And once it was out in the open, it turned out there was a great deal he could do about it. Because here is the truth that the fear keeps people from hearing. The balance system is one of the most trainable systems in the entire body, at any age. Your muscles will answer when you call on them. Your nerves will sharpen when you use them. That hidden conversation gets louder and faster and clearer the more you ask it to work. Walter is 72 now, and Walter can stand on one leg while he brushes his teeth, and he has not touched a wall in months. So what do you actually do about it? Let me give you the simple, safe, honest answer, because I am not going to sell you a machine, and I am not going to send you to a gym. The single best thing you can do for your balance is to practice balancing in small, safe doses every single day in the ordinary moments you are already living. When you stand at the kitchen sink washing your dishes, with the counter right there in front of you to catch you, lift one foot a little off the floor and hold it while the water runs. When you brush your teeth in the morning, with the bathroom counter right there, stand on one leg for a few seconds, then switch. When you are waiting for the coffee to brew, with your hand resting near the counter, practice your stand. You do not need extra time in your day. You need to borrow 10 seconds from the moments you already have, the moments when something solid is already within arm's reach. And let me give you a few more, because the body loves variety, and these are all safe when you keep something sturdy nearby. Practice walking heel to toe, like you are walking a tightrope, placing the heel of one foot directly in front of the toes of the other, down a hallway where you can touch the wall. Practice standing up from a chair without using your hands, if you can do it safely, because the strength to rise is the strength that catches you. Practice simply standing with your feet close together, eyes open, near a counter, and notice how your body makes its tiny corrections. And once those feel easy, and only once they feel easy and safe, you can try the same one-leg stand with your eyes gently closed for just a second or two while you hold the counter, because closing your eyes takes away your vision and forces the inner ear and the feet to do more of the work, and that is exactly the kind of challenge that wakes the whole system up. Every one of these is a conversation with that hidden system, and every conversation makes it stronger. A little bit, every day, done safely, will do more for you than a great burst of effort once a month. Slow and steady and daily is how the body prefers to rebuild, and the changes are real and they last. If you want these laid out for you, the moves and the order and how to hitch them to things you already do every day, that is exactly what the movement section of the Complete After 60 Health Guide is built for. A simple chair and counter routine, no gym, designed to keep your stairs and your top shelf yours. The little square code is on your screen again right now. Scan it whenever you are ready, and you can follow along at your own pace. I want to tell you about one more person because I think she will sound familiar to a lot of the women watching this. Her name is Eleanor. She is 69, and when Eleanor first tried this test, she could not hold 3 seconds, and she very nearly gave up on the spot because she decided in that moment that she was simply old now and that was that. But Eleanor did not give up. She started borrowing her 10 seconds at the bathroom sink every single morning one leg while she brushed, the other leg while she rinsed, her hand never far from the counter. She did her heel-to-toe walk down the hallway every evening before bed. She did not do anything dramatic, and she never once went to a gym. And about 8 weeks later, Eleanor stood in her kitchen, lifted one foot, and held it, steady and calm, past 10 seconds, past 15, all the way to 20. And then she sat down at her table and cried, because she had spent a year quietly believing that part of her life was over, and it was not over at all. That is what the research means when it says this is one of the most trainable systems in the body. It is not a slogan. It is Eleanor at her bathroom sink, getting her steadiness back 10 seconds at a time. I put all of this, the test, the age targets, the daily practices, the way to track your own progress over the weeks, into the complete After 60 Health Guide, written in plain English, the way I have been talking to you this whole video, because I got tired of watching good people get handed a pamphlet full of words they could not understand. If you want it, scan the small square code on your screen and it will take you everything you need. But whether you ever scan that code or not, I want you to walk away from this video with the test itself, because the test is free and the test is yours and you can do it for the rest of your life. Now here is the part one most want you to remember, and if you forget everything else, hold on to this. The reason this matters is not really about a statistic, and it is not really about a number on a study. It is about the walk to your own mailbox. It is about whether you can carry a grandchild across the room. It is about whether you climb your own stairs at night without that small, cold thread of fear, or whether you stop climbing them at all and quietly move your life down to one floor. Independence does not usually disappear all at once. It leaves in small pieces, a hand on the wall here, a railing gripped a little tighter there, a thing you used to do that you quietly stopped doing. And every one of those small surrenders feels reasonable in the moment. That is what makes them so dangerous. This test, and the few minutes a day that come after it, is how you stop handing those pieces away one at a time without noticing. So here is what I am asking you to do. Today, before you go to bed, do the test once, safely, the way I showed you, next to a counter, and find out where you really stand. Then tomorrow morning, while you brush your teeth, borrow 10 seconds and practice. That is it. That is the whole plan. And I promise you, it is a plan you can actually keep. And I would truly love to hear from you, because this is the part where you teach each other. After you do the test, come down to the comments and tell me two things. Tell me your age and tell me how many seconds you held. That is all. Because somewhere out there is a man Walter's age, holding on to his wall, telling himself it is nothing, and your honest number might be the very thing that finally gets him to try. So tell me, how old are you and how long did you hold? I read these and the people who watch this channel read them too, and your 10 seconds might mean more to a stranger than you will ever know. If this helped you, if it explained something nobody ever took the time to explain to you before, then you already know the kind of person this channel is for, and you know somebody who needs to hear it. Stand tall, stay steady, and I will see you in the next one.